fans, people of the interwebs, it's me, your system lord, Soundwave SG1, back for a movie review. Yes, a movie review. Now, as you could probably tell from the titles, it's Star Trek Into Darkness, which I still maintain is a silly title, but anyway. Yes, you lovely people of the internet land know that I am a huge Star Trek fan. Fucking, does that give it away or what? Right? I'm a huge, massive, total, 100% Star Trek fan, yeah? Now, and you all also all know that I fucking despised the 09 Star Trek movie. I'm not going into details on what I hated about it, because there was, well, pretty much the whole film. I hated everything: the look, the sound, the feel, the actors, except for Carl Urban, because he was awesome, because he is awesome. The plot, the villain, the technology, the lens flares, just pretty much everything. The whole film sucked fucking ass. And J.J. Abrams was a prick. Now, I feel a little bit hypocritical of that last statement, because I recently saw Into Darkness and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty good film. They got the 100% correct on everything, but they got it right. It did feel like a Star Trek movie. Right, I'm going to go through the nitpicks first, which there are a few, not as many as last time, but there are a few. Number one, hiding this. Sorry, spoiler alert. There's going to be a few spoilers in here. Spoiler alert. The opening sequence. They hid the Enterprise in a sea, and a bunch of a pre-warp civilization saw the ship and now worship it as a god, right? Yeah. Now, if you didn't want the natives to see your ship, you should have just left it in orbit, right? And the fact that they didn't see the shuttlecraft first as well, right? Yeah, I mean, you couldn't hide a starship in water because of the pressure changes. They did, because there's an episode of Star Trek Voyager called, well, it's either called, I can't remember, is it called Deep Down or is it called 30 Days? I think it's called 30 Days, actually. Tom Paris steals a Delta Flyer and they have to reactivate this. They found this planet that's made up completely of water. There's no landmass, like a gas giant, but totally water, and it's full of life forms. And you find out that the reason why it was created, there was a device at the centre that's breaking down, and if they don't repair it in 100 years' time, or 200 years' time, it's break down completely, and the water will just evaporate into space. Right? They had to extensively modify the flyer to withstand the pressure of the water, and even it didn't. It did manage to, you know, spring several leaks. But yeah, so that was a bit silly. Klingons. Firstly, they spelled Kronos wrong. They spelled it like this, but it should be spelled like this. Right. Yeah, that's only a minor nitpick, really. The Klingons, the birds of prey looked a bit shit. The Klingons themselves looked gay. Now, I've got nothing against gay people, but it didn't suit the Klingon look. I'm sorry. They really did not suit Klingons. They kind of look like, is it Xerxes from 300? Think of him and throw in a Klingon in there. Yeah, and most Klingon, in fact, there's only one bald Klingon, and that's General Chang from Star Trek VI: The Undiscovered Country. And yeah, they needed the big black salt and pepper locks. So yeah, that was a bit silly. The Enterprise still looks like ass. The warp core, yes, one singular core this time, which is better. Kind of looks like a Hadron Collider, which, to be honest, looked kind of cool. But the thing with that though is it looked realistic. If for example we were to build the Enterprise today, that's probably what the warp core would look like. So that was kind of cool, but it's still a nitpick because I need my I've got to have me cylindrical tube, that cylindrical core that goes boom 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 boom. Oh, I fucking got a ringing in my ears there. Shit, hang on. There we go. But yeah, it kind of worked, but yeah, the Enterprise still looks like ass, to be honest. Although for some reason it wasn't really a problem this time round. For some reason, I just said that twice there. Yeah, it didn't seem to be that much of an issue, but it still looks like ass. I'm sorry. What other nitpicks? To be fair, I think that's pretty much it. Oh, the torpedo tube's down the length of the secondary hull down here, which is a bit silly. Yeah, it's got torpedo tubes at the front there. That was a bit silly as well. Now, in terms of plot, one thing I did like is actually, I mean, I'd seen pictures of them before during the thing, and I was very much, this movie's going to suck balls, blah blah blah. The crew of the Enterprise have like original series uniforms, right, or an approximation of same. Now the admirals had an approximation of motion picture style uniforms. That was quite a nice idea. Now, anyway, the plot. As I said before, the Enterprise discovers is exploring a planet, and they discover that this there's going to be a super eruption volcano which potentially could destroy the planet. As in, well, it said destroy the planet. I mean, I don't reckon it'll explode. The planet will explode. What I mean is, the volcano will explode, propel trillions and trillions of tons of ash and dust into the air, creating a nuclear winter, and thus killing every life form on the planet. Now Kirk decides that they are going to stop this by detonating a cold fusion bomb inside the volcano. Now, why they needed to lower Spock in there with the shuttlecraft, I don't know. Why they needed to hide the Enterprise in the sea, I don't know. But they could have just fired that from orbit. There's a similar plot thread in an episode of Next Generation called Pen Pals, in which Data, season 2 episode, Data is monitoring subspace radio transmissions that are not normally monitored by the ship's computer. So it's like, he's searching around for, like for background radio noises and stuff like that. Anyway, he finds this voice, and she says, "Help me." Data sort of talks to this girl, and they find out that her planet is doing a similar thing. There's lots of volcanic eruptions, and then they decide to help them and fire torpedoes. And yeah, watch the episode; it's pretty good. Actually, it's a bit shit, but yeah. Yeah. Anyway, Kirk doesn't play by the rules, which is not typically Kirk, but okay. Doesn't play by the rules, and thus didn't file the correct report, right? Didn't falsify anything, but didn't say anything either. It turns out that Spock, being a rules Nazi, made a report. Pike gets aware of this. There's a meeting with all the senior vice admirals, and they take away the Enterprise. Meanwhile, in London, Mickey Smith from Doctor Who, I forget the actor's name, you see him wake up and go to hospital and to see his dying little girl. And you also see this bloke taking out, it turns out to be Benedict Cumberbatch, take out some blood. He gives it to the little girl, he gives it to this guy, he gives it to the little girl, and then he gives him a ring, a Starfleet ring, and then he goes to a building, the Kelvin Library, and it blows up. sort of terrorist style. You know, and Benedict Cumberbatch's character, called John Harrison, says about, yeah, I hate Starfleet, blah blah blah, I'm going to destroy everything, da 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 da. So they're having a meeting. Kirk's been demoted back to captain. Pike's been given command of the Enterprise. Spock's been reassigned to a different ship, I think the Bradbury, I think it is, and they, you know, as the admirals are talking, saying it's an old-fashioned manhunt, we should go get this guy, you know, you're under orders to do whatever it takes to find him, blah 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 blah. Kirk is looking at a video screen, and he realises that Benedict Cumberbatch is carrying something away, and he's going, well, why destroy that, why not do this, and then decide that, oh well, his next course of action would be to gather all the admirals up together and take them out, which sure enough, that's what happens. A shuttlecraft turns up and starts shooting the shit out of them all. Anyway, what's she called? Okay, not Janice Lester. Admiral Marcus, there we go. Admiral Marcus tells Kirk that he's got to go kill this guy because he's beamed to the Klingon homeworld, Kronos. Which they spelt wrong, but that's a minor nitpick. Excuse me. They realise that he's on Kronos, in an uninhabited area of Kronos, so they've got to go there. If they take the Enterprise there, it could start a war between the Federation and the Klingons. So they get a merchant ship or a merchant shuttlecraft or something like that, and then they go and try and find this guy. Meanwhile, they have been given 72 new types of torpedoes that are giving off a strange energy signature. Scotty doesn't like this and won't sign the order and leaves the Enterprise, and then we don't see him for at least an hour again. Is it an hour? Something like that. Anyway, no, it's not an hour, it's only about 20-30 minutes, I think, something like that. Anyway, they go to the planet, the Klingons follow them, they send her out because she can speak Klingon somehow, because in the original series she couldn't. She's not Koshi, but anyway, she can speak Klingon. Then nice one. Sorry, I'm just running a computer scan. I thought there was something wrong with my computer. Anyway, that's beside the point. Yeah, so anyway, the Klingons attack. This guy shows up, starts shooting all these Klingons, like, quite with a big fucking sort of minigun phaser, which is quite cool, and just like slices Klingons in half, which is actually, that was pretty cool. Anyway, shooting at the Klingons, and then the Klingons start shooting at the Starfleet crew, and then, you know, Kirk, Uhura and Spock shooting back, and anyway, it turns out that, oh, well, meanwhile, before this, Sulu is left in command, gives the ultimatum to John Harrison to, you know, surrender, or he'll use these new types of torpedoes and blow him to fuck, yeah? Anyway, the fight between the Klingons, and then Kirk goes, right, come on with me, you're under arrest, and he goes, I surrender. He goes, how many torpedoes do you have? And he goes, 72, and he goes, I surrender, right? Which is, I thought, hang on, what's going on there? Right? And I thought, it must be some kind of plot thing. Anyway, they beam him aboard. It's revealed that Benedict Cumberbatch is actually Khan, which we all knew. We all knew he was going to be Khan. Then they take a blood sample, and then they sort of, he says, oh, go check those torpedoes, go and open them up if you don't believe me, because it turns out that Admiral Marcus has been...
All systems are functioning within normal parameters.
Shut up. It turns out that Admiral Marcus has been... the ship went out and found the Botany Bay, and Khan and 72 of his companions. They revived Khan and realised that he is a genius, a maniac, and somebody that can think in ways that the new Starfleet can't think, you know, designing weapons, shields, you know, ships, and all kinds of stuff, right, for an impending war with the Klingons, which has all been orchestrated for. You find out that something is going on in orbit of Jupiter. I think in actually above one of Jupiter's moons. I think it's Io, I think it is. But yeah, and Khan is saying like, yeah, I've been used, I'm getting my revenge back on Starfleet because I've been used so very much, you know, blah 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 blah, tweaking moustache, you know, evilness. Yeah, then you find out that these torpedoes have been carrying Khan's followers. So they go to, well, they don't know that yet, they go to a planet and try to open these torpedoes up. So they open one up, and sure enough, there is a guy inside. And you find out that all the torpedoes that they had have guys aboard. Anyway, the warp core of the Enterprise has been sabotaged, so that they had to, so they're stuck in position, and hopefully to try and incite the Klingons into destroying the Enterprise, thus, you know, declaring war. Anyway, since Scotty had resigned, Kirk calls him up and says, Scotty, can you go to this location, because, you know, it's the kind of thing of, well, we don't believe you, but well, let's check it out anyway. So they go check it out, and it turns out to be some kind of secret dry dock. Was building a huge fuck-off starship, which actually looks pretty cool. Some minor, nitpicky starship guy, you know, but overall looks pretty cool. Anyway, so Scotty gets himself aboard. The ship shows up, and attacks the Enterprise, and then you find out that Admiral Marcus is on board, and he's been working with Section 31. He then sort of attacks the Enterprise, beams his daughter aboard, Carol Marcus, forgot to mention her. She snuck aboard the Enterprise so she could, you know, find these torpedoes and help them out and stuff like that. And she goes, Daddy, how could you attack the Enterprise if I'm aboard? Sorry, my camera suddenly cut out then for some reason. But anyway, yeah, so Kirk has now realised what's going on, because he says, oh, we know about Khan, because Kirk was under orders to kill Khan rather than arrest him, and of course Starfleet regulations say he has to be arrested rather than killed. Then they fly, and then they get the Enterprise back to Earth, but in doing so this big fuck off ship attacks them, drops them out of warp. Yeah, so Kirk and Khan, well, no, yeah, Admiral Marcus beams his daughter aboard. Then they and says, oh, Kirk says, yeah, they're only following my orders, blah blah blah, spare my crew, and he goes, no, I'm not going to do that, and then just going to destroy the Enterprise. And then suddenly the ship's called Vengeance, Dreadnought class, no register number given. The ship powers down. Right? Turns out that Scotty snuck aboard and sabotaged the ship, and he's put everything on standby mode. So Kirk and Khan, you know, find out that Scotty's aboard, so they have to go aboard and try and rescue Scotty, because their transport, because the Enterprise's transport system's down. So they've got to go aboard and try and stop, you know, well, basically try and stop everybody. You find out that the ship was, the Vengeance was designed to be operated by a very minimal crew, even a single person if necessary. Anyway, they go aboard, they stun Kirk, you know, they stun all the guards, they stun, then, because Kirk says to Scotty, Scotty goes, who is this guy, why are we helping him? And he goes, I've got a feeling we're helping him. Anyway, they stun Khan, but phaser stuns doesn't quite work, and then he gets up and beats the living fuck out of Kirk, kills Admiral Marcus by what appears to be squeezing his head. Anyway, gives an ultimatum to the Enterprise crew: give us my crew, or I will kill Kirk. You know, and so he does that, and then I missed a bit out, I think, somewhere. Anyway, oh yeah, while they're on the ship, old Spock, new Spock, hails old Spock, and he asks about, do you know a fellow named Khan? And and Spock says, "Yeah, the most dangerous man we've ever come across." You know, which was kind of a nice touch. I didn't even know Leonard Nimoy was going to be in Into Darkness. So yeah, there's not much of a fist fight, which is a bit of a shame. There's not much of a space battle, which is a bit of a shame. Anyway, Spock beams the. Spock says, "Oh, our transport systems are offline," and Khan says, "Fortunately, mine are working perfectly. Lower your shields." So they lower the shields, beam the crew aboard, and it turns out it was a ruse from Spock that. It was a ruse from Spock that they go back to Earth. Yeah, the Enterprise gets a little bit more destroyed, and then it starts to, you know, fall out of orbit. The torpedoes were replaced. Khan's crew in the torpedoes were replaced by torpedo detonators, and they were detonated, destroying the new ship, which then crashes. Khan sort of tries to pilot it on Starfleet headquarters, and he just misses and crashes into the city. He survives, he gets out. Meanwhile, the Enterprise is falling from space, and they find out that the warp core is misaligned, so somebody has to go inside and repair it, and Kirk does the job. He runs inside and he repairs the warp core, thus dying of radiation sickness. And in a very role reversed, which was quite a nice touch actually, in The Wrath of Khan, Spock is the one that saves the ship, and Kirk goes to see him. It's almost word for word dialogue, perfect. You know, Kirk goes to see Spock. Spock dies and says, "Oh, ship out of danger. You saved the ship. The needs of the many," all that kind of stuff. And Spock subsequently dies. Anyway, the roles reversed. Kirk does the same thing. Kirk dies. Spock's outside, and then Spock goes, "Khan!" And I kind of chuckled at that moment. Chuckled in a, "Oh my god, that's awesome" kind of way. And yeah, and then in a really awesome fucking bit, Spock goes fucking Hulk rage, beams down, fucking chases down fucking Khan, and they jump on these like flying garbage trucks, and then subsequently beat the living fuck out of each other. In quite a fucking good fight, and then Spock tries to use the Vulcan nerve pinch, but because Khan is genetically engineered, he can resist it. You know, then Uhura beams down and shoots him because, you know, they find out that Kirk's dead, but they can use Khan's blood to regenerate because they used it earlier on to regenerate a dead Tribble, and yeah, he's killed. Oh no, Khan's not killed. They use his blood to regenerate Kirk. They put Khan back into stasis, and then they decide that the Enterprise is ready to go off on its first 5-year mission, and you know, and it flies to warp again. So yeah, overall, I think a solid 8. I mean, it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. There are some, like I say, some minor nitpicks, but I think overall a great movie. The acting was great, the story was great, too many lens flares as usual. I feel like a hypocrite for condemning the last one so like very much, but really liking this one. Yeah, so I think it's a solid 8 out of 10, and I think that, you know, I can be proven wrong, and it was, like I say, it was a really enjoyable movie. But like I say, the nitpicks I've got, when I've gone through them, the Enterprise really, I mean, I don't like the industrial fucking sort of power station look to it. I really don't like that. The overall design of it looked like shit. But I think generally though, I think it was pretty cool. But fucking Cumberbatch was fucking amazing in that movie. He was fucking badass. Now, he's good in Sherlock, but he was really good as Khan. I mean, like I say, we all knew it was going to be Khan anyway. But yeah, like I say, the thing with it is, I went in knowing full well I wasn't going to enjoy it. I went in going, this is going to be shit, I can't believe I'm here to see it, I've got to see it because I'm curious, all that kind of shit, you know. And then within sort of 20 minutes, half an hour, I started to enjoy the movie, you know, and I chuckled at the right moments, I chuckled at, like, sort of, you know, Trekkie stuff in there, and it was... They seem to have got it right this time round, if you know what I mean. Now, if they'd have done this one first, I wouldn't be sat here going, oh, fucking, the new Star Trek films are shit, I don't like them, blah, 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 they're not Star Trek anymore. And, granted, like I said, I didn't like the last one, but I really enjoyed this one, I keep saying it. So, yeah, it's nice to be proven wrong in these types of things. So, yeah, I probably still won't like the last one, but this one I'm definitely getting on Blu-ray when it comes out. But yeah, I mean, I've ranted and raved about this film all over Twitter and things. So yeah, well, anyway, thanks for listening to me prattle on about this video. But yeah, now, if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can follow me at soundwave_SG1. You can follow my podcast, which is called Nerdflix, where we take the very best, nerdiest and spaceshipiest in all in film and television, and we sit and talk over it in a DVD commentary style. I mean, you can look for us at nerdflix.podomatic.com, which I've just done a Deep Space Nine episode with John Paul Beauvais. In the pale moonlight, so check us out. You can follow the podcast at nerdflix._pod on Twitter. You can follow us just put Nerdflix into Facebook, and you can join our Facebook page, like our Facebook page, and you can find us on iTunes, download us, enjoy us, rate us, slag us off, whatever you like. So yeah, I will be doing that film when it comes out on Blu-ray, I must admit. So yeah, that's Into Darkness done. Highly enjoyable. If you're a Trekkie fan, go watch it. If you're not a Trekkie fan, go watch it. I think you'll enjoy it just the same. So yeah, thanks for listening to me, and I'll catch you all later. Bye for now.